News broke yesterday on Thursday that CNN Plus will be shuttering about a month into its existence. It'll be done on April 30th. It launched actually as a really nice birthday present to me on March 29th, and it's gone after millions of dollars, about $100 million already sunk into it, and a planned $4 billion investment over the course of 4 years. It's all gone. Ryan, there's a lot of different explanations for this, and there's a lot of different ways to look at this. The business, the Warner Brothers Discovery merger had a huge role, and of course the departure of Jeff Zucker. What's your take?
Well, I think rather than asking the question of why it failed, I think a better question would be, what was the rationale for why it would have succeeded? Yeah. I'm kind of joking, but not really.
Yeah.
So why? So, let's try to concoct some explanations for where there would be an audience. Apparently McKinsey told them that they would have 2 million subscribers, fairly quickly.
That was their goal in 4 years, was to have break even and have 2 million subscribers.
So if their primetime shows don't have 2 million viewers, their best stuff that they're spending millions to produce with their greatest talent, if they don't get 2 million, then why? That's the thing. Why would somebody? Who are these 2 million people?
Yeah.
Who are gonna pay extra to do CNN Plus? I don't see now if they were gonna do something different. If they were gonna let's say they were gonna do a rising type of thing where you're gonna have some populists, you're gonna have some left-wing insurgents, you're gonna have some MAGA people, you're gonna reinvent how you do news. That could be interesting. It'd be tough with the brand.
Yep.
But at least it would be something different. But you're just doing what CNN's doing.
Yeah.
And CNN, with its best talent, is fading.
Yeah.
So with lesser talent and less money, and without any ability to, I guess you can advertise. They were advertising on Breaking Points, apparently. Did you see this?
No, but that's hilarious.
On the Breaking Points podcast, they were it's a dynamic advertising. They don't pick the ads, and Chris Wallace's show was being advertised. So, I just don't understand what their idea was for how they were going to pull this off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote about today, actually. It's a really interesting question because Chris Licht, who is now the new head of CNN, comes from Stephen Colbert's show. And the example I actually always use about new media is, why is Stephen Colbert, who's the most partisan and least funny guy in late night, why is he generally the top-rated host in late night? And it's because of niches. He doesn't need to put up Johnny Carson's numbers, so he doesn't need to appeal to that many Americans. His writers ask, what is going to make resistance boomers laugh tonight? Not what is going to make America laugh tonight. And it's a very different model. So in that sort of niche world, Licht comes in, he looks at what CNN Plus is doing, which is treating this platform like CNN has the brand it used to. Mass media, the place people trust for serious breaking news. That's the kind of money and overhead they're pouring into it, and says, holy smokes, we need to pull the plug. And that's what reporting from Sarah Fisher at Axios basically says, is they were completely skeptical that the streaming business model for the brand that CNN has right now was going to make it successful. And they're really clearly trying. Licht actually this week said he was quitting Twitter. He said it skews your impression of the world. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but it could be Licht, who knows. But he quit Twitter. He says he wants to go in a more serious news direction.
Twitter would have told him not to do this. If he was,
listen to Twitter. You could have. There's so much wisdom in Twitter.
Nobody on Twitter was saying this was going to be a good idea.
So CNN is banking that they can resurrect their brand and they can still make more money by going back to this model where they're actually seen as the serious place for real, straight, neutral news, which, by the way, is freaking impossible. And they're not going to be able to do it. But that's what they're banking on. And that's why CNN Plus made no sense for kind of the new direction that they want to go in.
Yeah, I really do think that if you're going to reach a broader audience, you have to do something like this, where you're presenting different perspectives. Because a lot of people that I meet will watch both Fox and CNN, or MSNBC and Fox, because they don't necessarily trust either one. They want to get both sides, and then they can decide for themselves rather than having one person tell them that their perspective is objective. Like CNN can tell you all they want that we're going to be objective. Fox News can tell you they're going to be fair and balanced. Nobody really believes that. But if you have 2 or 3 different viewpoints that you're hearing at the same time, then you're like, okay, that's fine. Like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I agree with that. And then you can check the ideas against each other. There was no real evidence that CNN was planning on doing anything like that.
Right, or you go in the other direction where you're so full resistance.
Right.
You're MSNBC, which did really well in the Trump years.
One America, like.
So Fox Nation has been successful for Fox, and like that's what the audience is for a niche streamer like CNN Plus.
Right, you go all in on it.
Exactly. Yeah, you go all in on the niche. You go full Colbert under Licht, and that's how you can make it. But they were pouring so much, $100 million into something that lasted a month, and of course they think they can repurpose some of the content, whatever. But $100 million at $1 billion over 4 years. Incredible amount of money to pour into something that was never going to appeal beyond that tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the public that is watching Don Lemon already.
Yeah, well, I mean, good on them for having the gall to make the decision. I mean,
yes.
Like just to go ahead and be like, you know what, this isn't working. We need to pull it. We need to invest our money somewhere else. I was joking that they should have just shut it down and seen what happened.
And see if anybody noticed.
If anybody noticed.
I saw that, yeah.
We used to, at HuffPost, we had HuffPost Live for a while, and for a while they were doing 12 hours of programming, which was just completely insane. This is pre the time where there was an audience for this. They cut it from 12 hours down to 8. We didn't hear one single complaint. Like 4 hours, nobody being like, hey, what happened to that 4 hours of content? It's just, it disappeared, and it's just the wind just took it.
Did anyone thank you?
Well, because nobody knew.
Right.
Nobody knew to thank us.
Oh man, 12 hours to 8. 8 still seems like a lot, but.
Yeah.
Well, this is your last weekend. In other news, to watch CNN Plus.
Right.
So after we wrap today, after you've gotten your fill of Rising Fridays,
Did they do a 1 month free?
I don't know if they already had slashed it to 50% off.
Maybe I'll watch it this weekend.
Yeah, maybe that's what Ryan's going to watch. That he's going to look into the deep fakes.
Well, from here I'm going to the train station, going to New York to watch Fish this weekend.
We are literally wrapping early so that Ryan can get his ass to a Fish concert.
But on the train, I'm going to put some CNN Plus. Get in the mood for the show.
Those are the people who watch CNN Plus, the people on the Acela going from New York.
We're taking the regional.
Oh, you're taking the regional. Okay, well, so you have more time.
That's right.
That's right. Your last weekend, make sure you do that after you're done with Rising Fridays, which we considered calling Friday. What were Frising. But we went with this instead. Still no wine in the mugs, even though it may seem like it. But please make sure to tune in next week for more Rising Friday content, more Rising content all week. We're so excited to be here with you on Fridays. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. For those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're also available anywhere you listen to podcasts. So that's fun too.
So go subscribe to that, and if you're at the Garden tonight, come by and say hello.
Yes. We'll see you next week.